Long ago, at a time without memory, people had nothing. Their bodies ached. Their hearts held nothing but hatred. They fought endlessly, but death never came. People despaired, stuck in the eternal quagmire of life. One day a man stood up. He didn't want to keep living like that anymore. Looking up at the distant sun, he took a serpent that symbolized his hatred and cast it towards the heavens. "Oh, you distant light, I offer you my hatred and pray that you free me from this endless life." The man's prayer reached the heavens and was heard. On that same day, a woman also looked up at the far-off sun. She had grown tired of the endless strife and wanted to live in peace. She took a simple reed and offered it towards the heavens. "Oh, you distant light, I offer you this reed and ask that you give me joy." Her prayer too reached the heavens and was heard. On that day, the prayers of the man and the woman reached the distant sun, each offering something different, and feeling pity for the great sadness that had overrun the earth. The sun took the serpent and the reed and sent them back down to the two people who had prayed. At that moment, the two realized that they weren't the only ones praying to the sun. Looking at each other, they saw not an enemy, but a kindred spirit. And so, kneeling together before the sun, they poured out their hearts and spoke of the hardships they endured. And at that moment, the two people became one. From their union, the first humans were born. From their sweat, the plants and trees sprouted. From their laughter, animals were created. And from their tears, precious stones and metals were formed. Everything on earth was given form through the power of the people's prayers. The people lived on, but they still didn't know the way to happiness. So they prayed to the sun, asking to have their sorrow taken away. And hearing their prayer, the sun said, "I am moved by your sorrow, but I am only a messenger. Your prayers must reach the place where time began." The sun pointed toward the east, where all the world's sorrow was gathered. When the people arrived at the place where time began, they saw a vast chasm filled with darkness. Trembling with fear, they couldn't bring themselves to step inside. Then the sun descended into the darkness and emerged from the other side. "Go forward," the sun said to the people, "for I have made time and divided it into day and night. I have also outlined the road to salvation and given you joy." Taking these gifts, the people crossed over. When they reached the other side, they found themselves in a place of eternal bliss. But suddenly, a dark cloud passed overhead, blocking the light of the sun. Looking up, the people saw a large number of beings descending from the sky. They were the guardians of the sun, the rain, the wind, and the thunder. They were the gods and angels that would lead people in obedience to God. Among them was the red god, Suchilbara, who carried the heavens on her shoulders. There was also the yellow god, Lobsalvith, who supported the earth with his back. The people fell to their knees before the gods and asked them to lead them to the place where happiness could be found. Hearing this, Shuchi-Bo-Ra spoke, "We are gods. You may call us whatever you wish. We will lead you to the place where happiness is found. But you must never forget your faith." The gods led the people along the path to salvation. After walking for 9 nights, they finally reached their destination. Before them stood a magnificent garden, beautiful beyond compare. Flowers of every color bloomed within, releasing sweet fragrances that floated on the breeze. Birds sang sweetly from the branches of tall trees, and crystal-clear rivers flowed through the garden. But at that moment, God suddenly trembled. The flowers withered, the birds fell silent, and the river turned to blood. The gods and the people cried out in alarm, but God only had eyes for the garden. With a trembling voice, God said, "Oh, how unfortunate. My strength is running out. It looks like I won't be able to finish creating paradise." Hearing this, all the people wept. When God looked at them, she felt a surge of new strength. "You don't have to worry," God said. "Everything will be fine. I may be asleep for a while, but don't think that I have abandoned you. I promise that I will definitely return." With that, God breathed her last. All the world's people grieved this unfortunate event, but God's body began to glow, and she slowly started to disappear. As she ascended into the sky, the people cried out in anguish, but God turned and said, "Don't cry, I haven't been lost. I have merely returned to the dust from which I was born. So keep praying to me, and don't ever forget your faith. I promise that one day I will definitely return and open the path to paradise." And with that, God vanished completely. The people waited in hope for the day when the path to paradise would be opened once more. They knew that God hadn't been lost, but had simply returned to the place where time began.